This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro. This is Matt Conrad.
And this is Mike Tobin.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint.
Today we speak with Saltwater Sean McMullen. Sean has found some fame on his YouTube and Instagram accounts by following his passion and sharing his discoveries as he dives into many bodies of water across Nova Scotia. Sean has recently been featured in an award-winning documentary and has much more things to come. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
And I am Matt Conrad.
And today we are here with Saltwater Sean.
Yes.
Yes.
My name's Sean McMullen.
Sean McMullen.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So you were, a lot of my family and friends were following you.
Okay.
I was late to the party.
Okay.
But Andrea followed you, her dad followed you, my brother and sister both followed you on Instagram. And they were all like watching this guy jump into a lake or the ocean and pulling out a bunch of weird and interesting things and just, showing them. Right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Right?
That being said, though, I have to admit, like, being basically it has got you a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
it's unexpected. I mean, like, to step back a bit, I mean, it started, this is like an old childhood passion of mine.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I loved snorkeling. Well, at first, no, I'll go back even further than that. I hated the water. I was the kid who had to be thrown in by a lifeguard.
Yeah.
And then I had to have water wings. And I had a life jacket. I was the kid with a million floatables on me until at the cottage in Ontario, our cottage in Ontario in Belleville, and on the Bay of Quinte, which is where my grandparents lived at the time. I learned swimming there, and I just started swimming without a life jacket. Eventually, I got good at it, and then I started snorkeling, and I loved looking at the bottom. I was like 7, and then it was like a childhood passion. Then I loved doing it every summer. I would always bring my mask and fins. I was always the kid that had that because I always wanted to see wherever we went what was underneath the surface.
How old were you then?
Probably 7 to 9 years old.
So by 7, you were in the water with the mask, doing the thing.
Doing
okay,
the thing.
cool.
But then I
I
forgot about it. Like I went through junior high school, like every other awkward teen.
Right.
And just, tried to make friends, played sports, and I just kind of did that like once a year.
Right.
Until fast forward to, I would do that as I grew older and got married, but it was never a thing I shared or told anyone about until the pandemic. And everyone's stuck at home. If everyone remembers March 2020, May, when we're all like confined to our homes.
Right.
And I was going crazy, like stir crazy. And I was like, I need something to do. And so one thing I had thought about was I'd always driven by the Northwest Arm.
Right.
And I was like, what's in there? What? And I wanted to know. So I bought a wetsuit off Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace from a guy for like $100. It didn't really fit me properly, but whatever. I didn't have my fins, didn't have a mask. So I had to go get all those things from my parents' house. And didn't have any of my own stuff. And then went to the Arm and found like 2 bottles, like a Pepsi and a Coke. They're very common.
Yeah.
I still have them compared to all the things I've found since. And then I just started kind of going out, and then a friend of mine, Ashley, was like, you should borrow my GoPro. And I was like, oh, okay. And my friend Matt had also suggested that to me, and so
So when you were going out there, though, like when you first started like diving for these things, was this just snorkeling, or were you scuba diving at this point?
I was just snorkeling.
Just snorkeling.
Just snorkeling.
Because scuba diving is not something you can just do.
No, and to be honest, I'm actually not a scuba diver. I can get to that later. I was training for it, but I had an injury in 2021. So, but we can get to that part later. So I'm a free diver, snorkeler, and I also have a machine that kind of like a quasi diver. It's this device. plugging them, but they're awesome. They're a big support for me. They're called Blue 3. The 3 actually is an E, but that's the number. Blue 3. And they sent me this device called the Nemo, which is like a hookah diving system that pumps air from the surface to a depth of 10 feet. And I can breathe air underwater, and I can stay at a safer depth for what I like to do.
Might be a weird question, but do you use anything to propel you while you're underwater as well, or just yourself?
No, just my fins.
Yeah, cool.
But there are machines that can help.
Yeah,
you do
I've seen those.
I've looked into. I want to try them.
Yeah.
So I can. So now I have this device that I can use that I can stay down at a depth. What happened was I had injured myself during my scuba training, during my PADI certification.
Oh.
I was down at a depth of 20 feet, and I felt a weird thing of pressure in my right ear. And then it went away, and I equalized, and I got out of the water, and I noticed this ringing sound in my ear. And so I have tinnitus now. I've had tinnitus for 3 years.
Brutal.
Jeez.
So I've had to habituate and adjust and mourn my hearing because of that. So I've lost all my high decibel hearing in my right ear.
Wow.
And I have that constant sound, but I learned to live with it.
Yeah.
And, some days are harder than others, but
For sure.
didn't stop me from continuing to do it.
Yeah.
Do what
So your dad was a diver as well?
Yeah, Dad scuba dived in all over the Maritimes, but mostly in the harbor with my diving friend and mentor Bob Chalk, who, if you look him up,
Bob Chalk?
he is a legend in the diving community.
Okay.
Him and I actually we were on a recent adventure where I filmed him on the wreck. Not a wreck, sorry, an anchor, a long-lost anchor from the Halifax explosion that hadn't been documented. Did that back in the summer.
Oh, cool.
Bob has found a million things. It's amazing. Wonderful guy, a Newfoundlander, living here. Love him to death. And he knows everything about the harbor and maritime history. You should seriously look him up. He's amazing.
Awesome.
Maybe we should have him on here
You
too.
guys should.
There you go.
You'd love him.
Yeah.
He'd talk your ear off.
Oh, well, that's what we
Awesome.
like. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, and I saw one of the clips I watched. I watched a bunch of your clips there in last little while, even. One of them was about the ginger beer bottle. You
Yeah,
found one.
that's a special one.
And tell us a little bit about the significance. You found this ginger beer bottle. How old was it?
So that bottle was probably like 1890, 1900s.
Wow.
I found older bottles, but this one was special to me because when I was a kid, my dad found that same bottle, the Felix ginger beer.
Felix ginger beer.
Yeah, Felix J. Quinn ginger beer bottle.
Cool.
So
was that manufactured here?
Yeah, so they would have printed it here. They would have manufactured those ginger beer bottles over in England.
Okay,
and
yeah.
shipped them over. And
Cool.
then the producers would have slapped their label and glazed it over.
Right.
So Dad found one when I was a kid and brought it home, and I still remember, I thought it was really cool, and I was like, maybe I thought at the time, I was like, maybe I'd like to find my own.
Right.
And then I forgot about it, and then in 2021, September, I wasn't with him the first time. I was out in Terrence Bay, and I was diving, like snorkeling around, and I found this like odd-shaped bottle, and I pull it out. It's Felix J. Quinn. Hard to find these ginger beers in Halifax in the water now. A lot of them are broken.
Yeah.
So I called Dad, and I was like emotional. I found my first, and then I took him back. He wanted to go back with me because I found one.
Right.
Whenever a diver hears that, it's like, let's go back and see if we can find more.
Right.
So I brought him back again, and I found a second one.
Jeez.
Same spot.
Wow.
Okay, weird.
It was so bizarre, but this time it was with Dad, so it was really special.
That's cool.
To be able to do that.
This obviously to you that has a very like significant kind of thing of value. But is there anything that why your dad was excited about something like that? Are they worth anything?
They probably are. Like, I'm sure all these bottles I found are worth value to people, but I'm really careful about what I say. Like, I don't call myself a treasure hunter.
Right.
I did meet with some like archaeological director or authorities back in 2021 because someone thought I was selling artifacts, like stuff. Hey, what's an artifact? I don't know.
Right.
And I'm not, so I removed the word treasure hunter, but someone reported me that I was. I don't know who it was. I wasn't selling anything.
Right.
I was just giving away stuff or whatever. And
Right.
someone, anonymous internet person.
When you get 100,000 followers, you probably get a little bit of
Sure, of course.
flack or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't block anything. I just welcome all any feedback on my diving stuff because I try to be as open as I can on that. And I'm not a looter. Like, I don't go on shipwrecks. If they're in shallow water, I don't take stuff from them. If something belongs in a museum, I think it should go because it'd be cool to have my name next to something.
That's true too,
right? So. that said, there's some bottles from like the 60s and 70s, like some people have asked to buy, like stuff that you can find at like antique places that aren't like Coke bottles or Pepsi.
Well, that's interesting. No interest in selling it. Like
I just I want to just be careful because in Nova Scotia there's a treasure trove law that protects. Well, there's one in place that protects the Oak Island guys that are digging on the island for the treasure that's not there. I don't know. Maybe it is. I wish the best for them.
Do you watch that show?
No, I watched a couple seasons. But I just can't.
I've never watched it.
I'm sure I've heard they're all really wonderful guys.
But never watched
it. But I think the treasure's been long since discovered.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. But it's entertaining nonetheless.
Sure, yeah.
I would love to meet them someday, but I do think the treasure's been found. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not in it for that, but I do make money through YouTube and through my other channels because I'm monetized. Growing on YouTube now, almost at 20,000 subscribers.
Excellent,
that's good.
Which is big on YouTube.
That's great.
YouTube's really hard grind. It's different than TikTok.
You got to get past 10K on YouTube, right, to kind of start getting.
Oh yeah, there's
so many hours.
Oh man,
so many now.
I just like creating stories and
with the shorts, they need like 1 million views or something crazy.
Man, it's crazy. So I had a couple. I haven't had anything go viral yet on YouTube, but TikTok and Instagram I did. That's what brought me all those followers.
I'm surprised those dolls didn't go viral, man. Some of those freaky dolls you found.
Every now and then I'll like repost them and reshare them.
Yeah.
I don't do it for, I'm not in it for like, of course if I find gold or treasure, like I'm going to report it because if it belongs to the province or Canada, I don't want to do that. I never, because it's illegal to take gold. I'm not interested in that. That's not why I do this.
So aside from...
I did see that I did see that you found some coins, and there's like a silver Egyptian dollar.
Yeah, I found an Egyptian silver dollar.
That'd be
worth
cool.
like 20 cents, I think, today now.
How old was that?
1956.
Cool.
You know what, though? But to me, I have coins from all around the world. Stuff from countries that don't exist anymore, or stuff from really cool. Germany and stuff like that. Yeah. Like that, I don't know, I just gravitated to coins when I was a kid. When I saw that on your Instagram, I thought that was kind of cool, like especially the Egyptian one. But then I saw that there was a couple other ones.
Yeah, there's
too.
a New Brunswick coin. There's an American braided Liberty coin from 1846.
Wow.
There's a Canadian coin from 1863.
Wow.
And when you find these in the water, they're preserved in the sand and mud better than they are. They don't oxidize. On land.
Oh,
so
so when you get pulled out, it looks
they're in amazing
good.
shape.
Wow.
Right, and so they're sitting on my windowsill. They're a half penny, right? They're not worth very much.
No,
but
exactly.
To me, it's a cool. When I find something, I'm like, oh, now I can tell a story and share my experience with other people.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not trained in it, but I think I'm somewhat in between. Like I love history. I love researching things. I love exploring. I love cleaning up the environment. And so all these things have kind of meshed together to create whatever this thing is that I'm doing. And people have seemingly resonated with it. Like I would still do it if no one watched it.
It does also seem like you're doing all of what you were just saying, because obviously you're going through and you're picking things up out of the water. So you're obviously cleaning up the water.
I'm going to find stuff while I'm doing it. It's just inevitable. And I don't want to be like, a clickbait type of person. Like what you see is like, that's it. Yeah. There's no like me like going like this, like gesturing with his hands up on his face. Just like with like, what is this mystery?
It's not dramatics.
Right. It's just like, hey, this is where I'm at. Yeah. Here's where I'm going to explore. Here's the things I found.
Right.
And that seems to work.
So how far deep can you go?
Oh, when I free dive, I can go down like, I don't know, 20. I stay at around 20 feet if I have to.
Free diving with no oxygen, just holding your breath. Yeah, oh, wow. Cool.
So, but most of the time I'm in water that's like 5 to 10 feet. It's like along shorelines. That's where a lot of garbage is.
But it's amazing that you can find all of this stuff like just 10 feet below the water.
Well, the river, because a long time ago, right, there was no garbage or trash collection. So they just chucked. So the Sackville River, which is where a lot of finds have come lately, has been dumped. Stuff has been dumped in there or thrown in there or discard or put in there from storms or whatever.
Right.
So rivers just collect stuff.
Right.
And over time, with flooding or like the big floods we had earlier in the summer, they kind of shifted things and uncovered things, and rivers are constantly changing, so stuff is always uncovered. There's new areas to explore, new things to find, or more garbage to take out. It's like I could be in that river forever.
That's cool.
Just keep making videos.
Yeah.
I love going to new lakes. Lakes are a little different here, and I love the ocean. I'm staying out of the ocean right now. Not a lot of ocean video content.
So not so saltwater Sean.
Yeah, not
freshwater.
Freshwater Sean, right? For now, yeah. I should trademark that name too.
Yeah.
But that's because of the high sea temperatures right now in Nova Scotia and their shark activity.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask is if you've had any encounters with sharks or any other wildlife.
No,
maybe.
I haven't had anything with that big.
Anything at all? Like, just getting in this small
like
freshwater,
large fish.
Yeah,
turtles.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but nothing that, could hurt me.
Cool.
That bad.
Yeah, that's good.
It's funny, I am afraid of sharks for being someone who loves salt water. Anyway.
Yeah.
But, I just have been, I was supposed to go in the harbor on a dive underneath the bridge, the K Bridge last Friday night or 2 Fridays ago. And I called Bob up and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going here, checking this place out with all my gear, with my new diving system. And he's like, oh, yeah? I was like, why? What are you saying? And he's like, I wouldn't go in the harbor right now because of this. There's high seal activity. The water's warm.
Yeah.
And there's white shark activity.
Right.
In Nova Scotia. They're all around. I actually just watched a documentary on Nat Geo.
Yeah.
That they filmed up in Cape Breton about the shark attack up in Shetty Camp.
Right.
And so it kind of traced. And at the end, it was like, Canada and Nova Scotia, this area is going to.
When did that happen there? Shetty Camp?
That was last summer.
Yeah.
Did they die or what happened?
A girl got bit, and they weren't sure what it was, but they're pretty sure it was a great white.
Okay. Wow.
So it's like, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to wait till in the summer, the water viz is not that great in the harbor. And we could talk about the harbor cleanliness too, if you want.
Yeah.
But it's not, the visibility is like maybe not very good, like 4 or 5 feet. Whereas in the winter, you can see like 30 feet down.
Harbor cleanliness, I'm curious. Yeah.
I get that a lot. Yeah. It's funny. You see all those memes or posts of people ripping people jumping in the harbor down those stairs and down.
Yeah,
Halifax.
of course.
And every time I see that, I'm just like, people. I don't know. Like, there are some myths about. I'm not a scientist, but I'm just from my own personal experience being in the harbor and cleaning it up.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of sea life thriving, and I see. There's not. There is garbage in there, but I take it out. There's stuff that. I don't see sewage, being dumped in there. But that said, there is I don't really go in the harbor after a heavy rain.
Right. Yeah. Because things can, they can be run off and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew someone who worked for the city who did the testing, and if you trust science, they come back and they'll tell you everything is safe.
Yeah.
Within there now that they've cleaned it up, and
that's right. Yeah.
20 years ago it wasn't that way.
No, and I don't feel gross getting out.
Yeah.
A lot of people just look at me. I'm in a wetsuit. I'm fully covered. I'm not, but there was that myth that the tide has cleaned out the harbor, and I read from a guy who actually commented on my TikTok videos that that's not actually completely true. Is that there's a lot of tidal action alone can't just take crap out of the harbor, but there's a lot of other factors involved. But there is a strong current running through there, and of course it would take stuff out. But there's garbage from every millennia. Or every century, going back to whenever we came here.
Right.
Cool. So what projects do you have on the go now?
So right now, this is cool. So a documentary made about me last year called Saltwater Souvenirs. Hasn't aired publicly yet, but it's being aired at a film festival in New York in a couple of weeks. The director, Sean McDougall, this guy from Halifax, directed it. So he invited me to go, and I had to renew my passport because it expired after 10 years. I didn't use it during COVID.
Right.
It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I had to go get that done yesterday. I had it expedited, paid the extra, and hopefully I'll
get it in time.
Yeah, I need it by the 23rd, and they said it'd be ready by the 20th. So it'll be
if you're flying out, you can drive it.
We might drive.
Then you don't need it.
Yeah?
You don't need it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just there's a little side fact for people on this. I just went to the U.S. Oh no, you know what? You do need it. Sorry, it's kids that don't need it. Okay. If you're under 16, you don't need it.
Okay.
By land. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Good
so
to
you
know.
would need it.
Interesting. Good to know. So that documentary is going to be aired at this film festival. It's pretty cool. So we're going to go try to get to it. It's a bit of a drive, but we're going to get there. And then there's this other thing I'm kind of working on, but I can't talk about publicly yet. But it's kind of cool, just about what I'm doing and taking it, doing it.
It's gonna be on cable television, is it?
No, not
Tight lipped.
Yeah, no, not that. I can say it's not that.
My partner Andrea, she asked me like, are you doing any kind of like group dives where you like people could come out and like meet you and go on a little expedition with you? Because I think that would be a hugely popular thing for you.
Yeah, it's on. I do get that question a lot. Yeah, and I don't want to be responsible. Because of the nature of what it is and where I'm at, I can't be held liable if someone drowns.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And so people who only come with me are experienced divers, experienced swimmers, or people who I feel
they'd have to know
what they're doing, and I can't babysit. Like when you're in the water, you're responsible for yourself. Yeah. You can't be responsible for anyone else. Like unless in emergencies you got but it's just like, and they even taught you in PADI, like if there's something's wrong, like check on yourself.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then help someone else. But
so because of the ear injury, like, are you? So that means you're not able to scuba dive at like. Because that's what I was going to wonder. If there's
I think I could.
A next level.
I could. There's not. PADI doesn't offer certification up to like depth of 10 to 15. You have to do it like the full their way.
Yeah.
The dive. One of the owners of East Coast Scuba, Tracy, she's asked about this for me because, like, for what I want to do, I don't want to be deeper than those depths. But you can't, she can't legally rent me a tank.
Yeah, unless you're trained to go that depth.
Right, and I don't. I want to only. Sometimes I only want to be in like 7 feet of water. I just want to be able to stay down so I can like look around, right? Like look around a wharf or look around at the end of a beach or look at the end of a pier or something. I don't know. So that's why this diving system I have solves that problem.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. But
I don't even know how deep can you go with like scuba gear, I guess. Like
you can go the deepest. We should look it up, but the deepest recorded scuba dive in history, the guy needed like a 9-hour ascent.
Oh, wow.
To come back.
Just for the pressure?
Like free diving?
No, a scuba.
Scuba gear.
I thought it was something absurd. He went down in like, I don't want to say it wrong, but he went down in like minutes. So it's super, super deep. Because you can go deep and equalize. But if you go up too fast, you'd like implode or explode. Your lungs would fill and anyway, bends would kill you.
Gross.
So I think he had to do safety stops for like 9 hours or something. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was something insane. I recently read into that. I was like, well, what's the deepest a human can go?
So that's the deepest, but like what, like, so like you don't really have much of a desire to like go to the bottom of the harbor or anything like that?
No, not really.
I mean, I kind of do. Not enough to actually go and get not enough to go scuba diving.
I just know guys who've been down there and they find like cool stuff too. But
they find like cars down there.
Yeah, there's stuff. There's everything there. But I mean, if you look at what I found over the last 3 years, I've all done this without scuba.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's quite impressive.
Bob's like, getting back to Bob Chalky's like, it's amazing. You found more than some divers I know diving for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And just because I love exploring, like I'll just go anywhere. Any body of water, I'll just go check it out. I'll start by.
It's amazing what people can find in such a small area when they just concentrate.
And think of it too, like when they threw out stuff. This is where you get into thinking about how people used to live, which gets into the history of what I love.
Yeah.
People, when they had their trash in their homes, either they threw it behind their home and buried it. So there's one way of looking for old bottles. Mm-hmm. The second would be finding a local water source, but they would have only thrown it as far as they could have thrown it.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it was on the ice, which was another common thing. They would take their trash on the ice, put it in the middle, and wait for it to melt, and it would sink to the bottom. So sometimes in the middle of lakes, you find just random groupings of stuff.
Right.
And it's like, where did this come from? Well, it's from the ice.
Amazing. Okay.
So,
isn't that cool?
how much time do you spend a week scuba diving? Or not scuba diving.
Yeah,
diving,
being in the water. Yeah,
being in the water. Sorry.
I'm in the water as much as I possibly can. I mean, I've got a family. I'm married with 3 children, dogs, cats, all that jazz. So I go whenever. But my wife's a big supportive. I've been super supportive of this. Her name's Ruth. Love you, Ruth. And I'm probably in the water at the highest point. I'm probably in like 10 hours a week.
That's still great. That's good.
Yeah,
constantly swimming. I got I quit the gym because I swam so much.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And I got fit and lost a ton of weight. Also, that coincided with the not drinking. That was
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that. Yeah, so we're joining Nabia right now.
January 5th, 2020. I was like, I tried quitting a couple times before. I wasn't an alcoholic or anything, but I was just like, when I drank, I was just like, I hated who I was.
Really?
Why? Like, I was like, why am I?
Your personality changed?
Just, I don't even know. Yeah, maybe a little, but I just didn't like how I felt, and I didn't like. I had a good friend and mentor. Was just like, he was like, "What are your values?" He just asked me that. My friend Adrian, and I said, and I didn't have an answer. He's like, "What do you value?" And I was just like, so I really thought about that. It sounds so simple, but I kept thinking about what he said, and I was like, I don't value this. I don't value alcohol. It doesn't bring anything to my life. It doesn't. It would make me feel somewhat better, and then I would just feel worse than I was before, which meant that there's something inside of me that I had to fix first.
Right. Yes.
Which eventually led me to quitting that. And I made it 3 months. The pandemic helped because I was at home and I wasn't engaged socially with any of my friends. I couldn't. I saw other people, they did drink while they were at home, but, to each their own. And I don't want to shame anyone for doing that. That's their own choice. But for myself, I had to kind of dig into myself and figure out what it is I wanted to do. And that all of that led me, well, first, that year I was supposed to go mountain climbing on my first glacier peak in Washington State on Mount Baker. Okay. I started mountain climbing
mountain climbing. You just kind of threw that in there, like that's a big one.
Oh, so I did Mount Katahdin in Maine twice, and I did Mount Washington.
So mountain peaks and into the valleys of the water.
That was my passion. It's still one before the diving, but I actually just sent my buddy a message before I came here. I was like, "Are we gonna go back on track for that?" But he lives out in Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
But we were training. We were going to go to an Alpine Institute to train to climb a glacier-covered peak. It's like a 10,000 and 12,000 footer.
Wow.
And I started climbing, like scrambling mountains out in Maine. Mount Katahdin, which is a freestanding mountain. It's a beautiful mountain hike. Mount Washington, the one that people take their car up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hate that sticker now that this car has climbed Mount Washington. It's not an achievement that your car climbed a hill, but good job. And then I did some in Alberta, Vancouver, when I went to Vancouver, and I just got the bug, and so I got really into reading books about Everest and that adventure. I've always loved adventure.
Everest scares the hell out of me. Like the
I don't know why people do it now.
It's a strange obsession.
It's just like a weird bragging point.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
And you're 1 in 4 chance you'll die.
So my wife's an avid hiker. Yep. She does like kind of doing some. Well, I mean, she doesn't necessarily do mountain climbing because she's afraid of heights, but we've gone up some mountains / hills or whatever, right? Yeah. Just this summer, this is not a mountain, but just this summer she did the full extended Fundy Foot path.
Holy, that's my hard. Brother just did that. He said it was the hardest thing he's ever done.
It's 84 kilometers or 86 kilometers or something like that, and it's the elevation might as well be a mountain. Yeah, because you're up, down. It's steep and up and down. Oh yeah, So she said it was the hardest thing.
Good for her.
She was like, I'll never do that again. She was like, I hated every minute of it.
That's what my brother said when he got out.
Yeah, but so because of that, to a lighter degree, I am a hiker by company.
Association.
Yeah, association there. So. So we do a little bit of that stuff. I'm traditionally a football player, but
okay.
So I mean, I get it. There's some really great things. We've climbed some cool things. Yeah. I mean, nothing too huge for me, but I mean, I would say like Big Gross Morn. I love Gross Morn.
Yeah, that would be fun to do. My other brother did that one too.
So. Yeah, so it's like I get it. I don't love it, but once you get to the top, you're just you definitely are like, okay. Right. You feel some sort of gratification because you're just like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. Exactly. You can see everything, right?
I know, and that's what I loved. I loved when I was at the top. I was like, I brought myself here. And actually, that same kind of thinking, I feel that with the Saltwater Sean thing is like this diving thing, all these decisions that I'm making about where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm taking out, how I'm choosing to share it. No one's, it's like for the first time in my life, no one's telling me how to do any of it. It's just me trusting my own instinct. I'm a boss. I do work full time.
What do you do for work full time? Sorry.
I work with the wonderful folks for Viewpoint, the real estate tech company.
okay.
You're really handy with drones. I noticed last night. I was looking on your Sean McMullen. You did wedding photography and stuff.
I do that too.
Okay, there you go.
Really good job, by the way.
Thanks.
I looked at a few of those last night as well.
I've been a photographer since I was a journalist. I was a journalist as well. Man, there's a lot.
You've bounced around a bit, buddy.
Yeah, you got a lot of things there.
Yeah.
I have done a lot of things. Turning 37 tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, doing that. So
The beer's on us tonight.
Yeah.
Or the non-beer.
The
whatever,
non-beer.
Yeah.
More Libra, please.
Yeah, more Libra. Yeah,
Man, I would actually love another Libra.
Yeah.
we can get one of those for you.
Yeah,
no
sure.
problem.
This is a cool place, by the way.
Oh, this place is amazing.
We're at Serpent, just so you know,
Yeah.
our usual home. But
This is, what kind of our main home base?
How new is this place?
so these guys opened up like January 2020, something like that.
In the pandemic, dude. Yeah, they had like
just
the
before.
worst start of all time, but
Yeah.
they prevailed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
I bet they get a lot of people like locally here.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. I mean, we record here on Tuesdays because it's quieter, but like you come here on a Wednesday, they do trivia nights. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
so
love
Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays,
Yeah.
and obviously.
It's pretty much the only day we can record here and have it like this.
Yeah. Do you guys like know the owners then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and he was on episode 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know which ones you said you listened to a few. I'm not sure which one you listened to, but it was the second episode.
Yeah, that's right.
The Newfoundlander brewmaster.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
really,
he's the owner
he's a
here.
really great guy. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like I love Newfoundlanders.
Yeah, they're good people.
But yeah, so
You can hear his accent too.
so I work for Viewpoint, been there since the company started.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow,
everyone
okay.
in Nova Scotia uses that site.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Just for fun sometimes.
Yeah, and we, so I help, do a lot of stuff there. Been there since the beginning. Almost the very beginning. I started 3 months after it was founded.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, love my bosses there, and they've treated me super well, and they support what I'm doing on the diving side.
Yeah.
And just good place to be.
A fantastic job he did with that company. Just
there's
from nothing
there's a great
to,
team
to like the one and only, pretty much.
It's the most dominant
Yeah.
site. There's no. I wish it was for all of Canada. But
Honestly, I've showed it to people in like Ontario and Quebec, and they're like, "Why don't we have this?" And it's like, "Well, you suck."
Yeah, it's
We've
very-
tried.
very
We've
impressive.
tried. The company's tried.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
Anthony.
long history into that. That would be a whole separate thing. But
We should get him on the
you
show.
should get Bill McMullen, my
Yeah,
boss,
man.
on the show.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I love
Yeah,
him.
So
absolutely.
any relation to you, Bill?
No relation. Everyone thinks
Same
he's my
name, eh?
dad. McMullen with an I. I'm McMullen with an E.
Right on. Okay.
I've got that a lot, and people are always like, "Oh, so you're Bill's son?" It's like, no.
Yeah, you should use that to your
relation.
advantage, though. So
Maybe
it
I
pisses
should.
you off, gets on
I
your
don't want to be.
I'm his.
I don't want to be a nepo baby.
I have a son. Damn it! Leave that to respect me.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess kind of let's back to the whole water thing.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we're all over the place,
So I mean, so you stopped drinking January 2020.
Yep.
And you, it seems like you also kind of picked up the diving kind of thing like around the same or shortly around after kind of thing. So. It seems like 2020 was a pretty busy year for you. Kind of like you found some things to occupy yourself, right?
Yeah, and I had big plans. The diving wasn't even on the list for things at all until April or May, right? So it was just going to be climbing, and then when all that went away, I just had no idea what I was going to do. And I was doing photography, but I was starting to lose kind of my passion in that realm. Before that, I had helped organize this event in Halifax every month called the Halifax Social Network with a wonderful team of people.
Okay.
Demetrius, Alfred, Laura, and my wife Ruth, and we ran this event once a month where we had creatives and people together meet once a month at a different bar or restaurant to support them, and also have people just talk about their experiences. It was a thing.
Oh, nice.
We did it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then that kind of, I just burnt out from that. And I felt like I was trying to become too many things to too many people. Because I am a people pleaser, and I always I'm kind of like anti-conflict, and I just kind of live my life in a way that I just want everyone to be at peace for each other. And then I started realizing I was giving too much of myself away to a lot of people, not to my kids, my wife.
How old are your kids, man?
Zoe's 13, Jackson is 10,
Nice.
and then Owen is 9.
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Yeah, cool.
Do they have any interest in like?
I think they do think it's cool that I'm a YouTuber. They tell their
bet.
friends
Oh,
at
imagine,
school.
yeah.
YouTubers are celebrities, man.
Absolutely.
YouTubers are the holy
I
grail
can ask
of, that's the top job for kids now.
My
being a
boys
YouTuber.
don't know
Yeah.
who Tom Cruise is.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know.
No,
like
no.
our generation
No,
knows.
no,
They knows all the
yeah,
movie
yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
But now it's like Mr. Beast or like
Right.
all these like
All these
famous
guys, yeah.
YouTubers, and they know.
The Paul brothers and
yeah,
all
the
this
Logan
stuff,
Paul,
right?
Jake Paul. These guys are all like YouTubers are their entertainment now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
right? And so the fact that I'm a YouTuber
yeah.
is
Dad's famous now, right?
yeah, and so
Yeah.
I've gone to their schools and spoke and stuff like that, and they think it's cool. And I don't know. It's
Yeah.
fun. I do love
Well, it's a great way
the
to
YouTube
utilize it.
communities.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to touch on. Is like I've met so many wonderful and amazing people like myself who are kind of like me, kind of peculiar and odd and love history and like finding things. And there's a whole community of people like magnet fishing, metal detecting.
Yeah, because you do a little bit of that too.
Yeah, I try to do all those things. I love mostly being in the water, so I stick to that. But I have like ventured into those other areas. And I've made friends in Vancouver, Amsterdam, Australia, England. It's just like it just goes on, and I've had open invites to go. It's just like, and these are people now I actually consider real friends, like internet friends that I now text back. And forth.
You're a part of a community.
Yeah, and I love that part of YouTube, and YouTube is all pretty wholesome for the most part, with the occasional troll comment.
Yeah,
I've been
of course.
trolled for cleaning up the ocean by taking out plastic, and people say that I should leave it because it's become part of the environment. And my argument is like, well, plastic doesn't ever belong, ever, even if something has made it its home. Like it's hard. That's a really hard call. Like glass bottles, I get criticized for taking a lot of the time too, because it's glass and it breaks down. But if it's in a shallow area, in a beach area, I'm going to take it out.
Yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah.
If it's in a
Safety.
deeper area and it's, let's say mollusks have taken over and it's become an ecosystem, well, I'll leave it.
Yeah.
But
Well, glass is different than plastic.
Well, I got to
Correct.
ask you a
But
question. What's your house look like with all this collecting all
my
this sea
garage,
stuff?
my
It
garage,
must be crazy.
all my cool stuff's on shelves, and I meant to actually, I forgot that.
So your partner,
I had
is
a
she
gift
like?
for you guys?
Because
actually.
Andrea,
These were clay pipes. For you.
Andrea
cool.
likes collecting stuff.
Sorry, I didn't bring them.
And I like throwing things out. Like that's
Yeah.
our relationship. We love each other, but we have that kind of thing
Yeah.
going. Like so you must be the collector. What's your partner like? Is she like get rid of this stuff, or is she
Ruth
she
is she's our.
cool with all that?
If it wasn't for her, our house would not be decorated. She has amazing taste, and she takes
amazing.
what I find and puts it in cool ways around the house.
Yeah.
Well, I
She
would
change-
imagine that some of the
changes
stuff you
paint when
can-
she wants. and
Sure,
she-
yeah.
Houses are canvas.
Cool.
All my stuff, most of my fancy bottles are inside. All the lesser bottles, which some people might find interesting, and all
Yeah.
the stuff in my garage. I have a big collection.
But I would still imagine like a lot of the stuff that you can
Yeah.
find can be like very like Pinterest worthy type of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
you see it all. Everything. There's not anything that I've found that I've never shown publicly. All the stuff I have, I own, is on social media, is on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. There's nothing I've found that I've kept to myself.
It's inspired a lot of people because I mean Andrea's gotten a bunch of cool stuff actually over the
awesome.
years, though, right?
Yeah, 'cause she goes to the
diving
beach and
yeah,
does
she does
looking for
that.
stuff.
and
I know
sea glass
that.
and all this other stuff.
It's so
yeah.
fun. I love sea glass, but I love finding the whole bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I'm really sorry. Yeah, I meant
You must have know about like because I think it would have been would have been before COVID hit and everything. But you must have heard about how they found that Alexander Keith's bottle.
I saw that.
in the
It's a
Northwest
cool
Arm.
story. Yeah,
And it still had beer in it.
Oh, really?
It still had beer in it.
That was a cool
Did
story.
anybody drink the beer?
And then
Nobody
they-
has, but I'd give it a try. I'd
do it with you.
I would. Yeah.
Let's do it.
They gave that guy such a stink.
Yeah.
The archaeology community for that, and it's just like I don't know. He's just. I've never really dealt with archaeologists too much. I know some that are in school for it, and so I like to ask information. But that's why I never call myself a treasure hunter. I
Right.
think conservation first. It's therapy for me, and you can't no one owns the water,
No, exactly.
right? But it's so to me.
It seems what you're doing is fairly harmless.
Yeah, it
and
seems
it's
that way.
like if I find something of value that I think is historically significant to the it's public.
Have you found a murder weapon?
I have found knives. I have found a sawed-off shotgun.
Cool.
No way.
Where to?
Yeah, under the bridge in Fall River. You know the highway that connects.
Yes.
I found that. Yeah, I'll send you guys that YouTube video.
Yeah,
we
I'd
can
love
boot it
to.
up later. I'll show you. It's hilarious. I found it. That one was at the very end of an unsuccessful day with my brother. A great day with my brother. We were kayaking, exploring Lake Thomas in Fall River. We stop under this bridge. I'm like, I'm just going to take a quick look. Matt, let me just go. My GoPro had 3% battery left. So I just was like, oh, whatever. I just turned it on.
Yeah.
Just do one dive down. You see it in the video. And I'm like, there it is. rusty sawed-off shotgun. I don't have my gloves.
Yeah.
Pull up with my hands up, first thinking, oh shit, like I don't have gloves. But it's rusty, it's underwater. Like there's no prints anymore.
No, exactly.
Anyway, RCMP came and took it away to forensics. They determined it was legally sawed. You can't saw off a gun.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And they took it and never got it back. But then I made an awesome friend, Brendan Butilier, with the RCMP. He's the guy now I send my license plates, any weird finds.
Okay.
I send these things to him that are like, are these crime related? Because when I haven't found, is there any wood around here, a body yet?
Oh, geez, yeah.
Right? That's another question.
You haven't found a body.
Never found a
I think
body.
you would find a body swimming around lakes all the time.
Probably a good thing,
There's some lakes I don't go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some lakes where I'm just like, this is right off a highway. Maybe there's, I don't know. Like, I had another friend who's an officer, and he told me at the beginning in 2020 when I started doing this more.
Yeah.
He was like, Sean, here's what you do if you find someone or something or a part of a body or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, don't panic. They are dead.
Yeah.
You are not.
Yeah.
Breathe. Don't. A lot of people swallow water. When they
Oh, really? Yeah.
They like if something can happen.
Yeah.
And then he's like, get out, call me.
Yeah.
So call the police right away.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I've not had to do that. But I have found license plates.
That'd be
that
a
have been
cool job
reported stolen.
working for them, though, finding stuff like you.
I don't know.
Is that something you could do on contract
They
with
have
the
proper-
RCMP or whatever?
No, they have proper divers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
They
too
have
scared.
divers.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to find a dead body.
No,
No.
fair enough. I don't think I would want that either.
Sorry.
So yeah, I don't think I would want to find a dead body either.
No.
Like, I mean, I have seen one that was pulled out of the water before, back when I was a volunteer firefighter, but
Yeah.
it's not a really
It's not
great.
that fun.
It's not a great scene.
No, I don't imagine. it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I found things like stolen license plates, lots of phones.
Yeah.
Hard drive once. I did report that because why is a hard drive in the water?
Right.
I don't want to know. I don't want to
Fair
know.
enough. Yeah.
Can't be a good reason.
Have you found anything that like would be like that has been deemed like of significant value?
Yeah, I found a couple bottles. There's 2 bottles I have found. One's a torpedo bottle, or Hamilton bottles. They're noted by their shape. I don't even know how to describe it to you guys. They have a pointy end.
Yeah. Well.
And they kind of like open up, and then they have a lip applied.
Okay.
And they were
yeah.
stored on their side to keep the carbonation and the cork, carbonation in the cork wet, so the fluid
Right.
kept it from. It was a kind of early rudimentary bottle design before they got to what we now know with stuff standing. And the name on it is James Ruey, who's the architect of the Blue Nose.
Oh, cool.
So I found
Okay.
that bottle last summer. That bottle, someone offered me $3,000 for it. I didn't sell it.
Yeah.
And one was it's called a Glendinning. It's a Glendinning bottle. I forget his initials again. I don't have it on the spot. I'm not good at thinking on the spot. And this bottle is interesting. It stands up, but it was one of the first people. It's very crude in its design, and there's air bubbles in it, all mouth-blown glass.
Yeah.
He was the first guy to bottle soda water in Halifax history.
Oh wow.
I have his bottle.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And I know
neat.
where I know where he manufactured it, where they made it.
It's awesome.
So cool.
Would have like so you're finding some things that are pretty significantly old, obviously. Is there any like have you come across any like really old like indigenous type of things or anything like that would be interesting to kind of?
I haven't found any artifacts, indigenous McMullen or anything
No?
like that. But if I have, like obviously, I was actually thinking about that the other day, talking to someone. It's like, what do I do with that? Because it belongs to them, not us.
Yeah.
So who does it go to? Like, does it like who do you contact with something like an arrowhead?
Yeah.
Do they figure out who was here at that point and then return it to? I don't know. I've never found anything like that. The oldest
Yeah.
thing I've ever found is like 200 years old.
That's still pretty old though, and I mean there'd still probably be.
But I want to
things-
go like over to England and like find Roman stuff. That would be a dream find.
So yeah, so I guess have all your videos been in Nova Scotia, or have you made
All
some
Nova
ones?
Scotia.
Okay,
yeah.
so you've
I've
not
never-
gone outside of
No,
the
I
province
haven't.
yet.
I would like if I had more money, I would love to do like I travel to all these other places, and I've opened invitations to do these things, but it's like you need money to go.
Obviously, yeah.
Netflix got to get you in and do a show with them, a limited series, and just put you in different spots in the world.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'd love to like magnet fish in the canals of Amsterdam. My friend, whose name is on YouTube, Bondi Treasure Hunter, Lee Weber. He was one of the first guys that I watched on YouTube in 2020 doing magnet fishing, and I was like, and then I loved his stuff, and then eventually I started doing my own. Him and I somehow got connected, and now we talk.
Wow.
He's like a guy I idolize. He's a big YouTuber, and now now we check in.
That being said, canals in Europe, we talked about not feeling dirty in the harbor.
Those would be dirty.
Oh,
yeah. People don't really snorkel or dive in those.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I know I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to Bruges, and there's been a few places that I've not been to Venice, but my wife has, and she says it's filthy.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that you would want to go into that water.
No, for sure.
But it would be very. I can only imagine there's probably insane things.
Oh yeah, he pulls up safes and guns and stuff. It's his channel's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. I've got into metal detecting recently. I bought an underwater metal detector.
Okay,
that was another way to just kind of look for stuff, right?
Yeah,
just curiosity, because and also you can take a lot of sharp metal out of places. So I went out to Dollar Lake with my kids this summer, and I just took it as a test in this popular beach area, and I took out like tons of nails where kids are just tons of crap.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just there's stuff everywhere in every body of water.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. It is sad. And I like it when I go somewhere and there's nothing there. I mean, I'm like, oh, there's no content. But on the other hand, it's like, oh, it's perfect. This is how it should be.
Unspoiled,
there shouldn't be anything by us.
Earth,
exactly. So I'm just kind of on a mission just to do what I can as one man and
that's awesome.
Share it and hopefully inspire other people to do the same.
Well, yeah. So, we just want to give you a last chance to really plug everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The documentary, when that becomes available, please share it with us.
I will
put it
share
on
it
the
with
site.
you guys.
And
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll add it to your bio and the episode, whatever we can do to help promote it. We'd love to. I'd love to see it myself.
And I'll share this podcast on my account. Obviously.
Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
And man. So check Sean out on YouTube, Instagram, the Tickety Talk. Is that how the young people say it?
TikTok's a cesspool.
Yeah.
I did have some viral videos there, but I don't like spending time there.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's the same.
We're
struggling
kind of the
with
same.
that.
So Andrea, again, she's helped me out with the TikTok because I couldn't understand it, and I got CapCut yesterday. You know, CapCut is?
For your phone.
Yeah, I
great
started
app.
using that. I made my very first little clip video, and Matthew was quite impressed with my
I
work.
was.
I was like a 10-year-old child. I'm like, what is this, man?
It's a sweet app.
Yeah.
So much so he called me Matthew there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's my brother's name, Matt.
Matthew? Yeah. I don't
call him
really.
Matt.
Yeah, I usually call him Matt or Conrad.
Yeah.
And I'm usually called Tobin.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you having on here.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting. I've been following along and watching certain
thanks,
things.
guys.
So
it's an honor to be on, to even be asked. I'm always surprised that people are interested in what I do.
I think there's like a huge audience there, and I think it's only going to grow because it's just a real fun thing, right?
Yeah.
And you're just putting out good stuff, good vibes in the world, and you're just
I think it's great. Nova Scotian boys having some success on social media. It's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Guys.
So let's end on a cheers, man.
Hey.
Yeah, and
All right.
cheers.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you guys too.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Afternoon Pint. If you have an idea for the show or would like to be a part of it, email us at afternoonpint@gmail.com.